Hello, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and Mark Zuckerberg is one of my favorite characters. I feel like the guy wants to be immortal, he wants to live forever. And unfortunately, we haven't discovered the technologies to keep us alive till the end of time. We haven't discovered like AI, robots, and all this crazy fancy stuff. What we have discovered is video games and MMORPGs. And all of a sudden, these big tech billionaires like Mark are trying to get us to join their crappy metaverses. Now, of course, if you look at Meta stock for the year to date, it has dropped considerably, 48% from the year to date. Of course, those things could change. Who knows, ladies and gentlemen, the metaverse might be an upcoming big giant project. Hey, get excited. According to some of the massive articles, people might expect to spend at least 4 hours a day in the metaverse. And you might be like, but Muda, don't you use the internet in your cell phone? The reality is I'm not putting an uncomfortable goggle on my head. Oh, Muda, do you play Grand Theft Auto Online? Yeah, again, I'm playing it with comfortable controls, not putting a headset on, playing low poly graphics while I'm moving two controllers around. I think there's a big difference between the two. And if you want me to spend a few hours in the metaverse, those headset batteries better be upgraded. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, to get back into it, Mark Zuckerberg, the creepy character that he is, basically announced that they're launching Horizon Worlds in France and Spain. Yes, that same Horizon Worlds that 4chan one tried to investigate, infiltrate, and make memes upon. But of course, even 4chan got too bored of that. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I think the world is collectively laughing when Mark Zuckerberg, by the way, puts $10 billion down the fucking hole. Of course, $10 billion in just 2021, dragging down massive profits for their company. And what does $10 billion get you? This fine dandy image, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, if you're thinking, damn, son, that might be a little Roblox action right there. Yeah, this is in fact the metaverse, ladies and gentlemen. What you are looking at is some 2002 graphic quality. Now, of course, what Mark Zuckerberg is showing you is his first metaverse selfie, if you will. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's selfie game has always been shit. This is back in 2017 when the dude was on Facebook Spaces. I would wager to say this might actually look worse than you would imagine. Now, of course, Mark Zuckerberg posted this, and there's a few people that are laughing at it. Actually, not just a few people, a lot of people are laughing at it. For instance, one individual compared it to Second Life 2007. You can see the graphics on Second Life may be a bit actually, no, they're not inferior. They actually got foliage. Mark Zuckerberg just has a rendering of two landmarks, if you will, and him selfieing in front of it. Why? This shit looks like it's on the Nintendo Wii. Where did you spend the billions, Mark? You can't tell me. The graphic chip on the Quest 2 is this inferior. It's the same system that runs shit like Resident Evil 4, and that's a mile better than what I'm looking at here. One person even compared it to the the Eiffel Tower of Twisted Metal 2. That looks better, actually, and that's a 1996 PlayStation 1 game, Mark. I don't know what you're on about. I don't know. Here's like one person comparing it to Ocarina of Time on the 6-4. Now, of course, I wanted to just sort of look at this and laugh at it together with you. Honest to God, the fact that the selfie cost Mark Zuckerberg and his company $10 billion makes me happy. As somebody that genuinely despises trash like Facebook, I'm not really feeling too bad seeing it circling the drain, if you will. Of course, the metaverse has always been weird to me, and it's even weird to the people behind who are working on it. For instance, even according to Facebook's actual executive team, they're in the thought that Web3 is in a chaos. For instance, at some point, Web3 is a hypothetical future version of the internet based on blockchain technology, an ideal utopia, says Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's believe that us joining into the Web3 metaverse may one day be a utopia, which I don't actually understand, because for a lot of these systems to work, they have to intermingle with each other, and even Facebook executives agree. Right now, I'm on Decentraland, my son is on Roblox, and my other son is on Fortnite. That's great, we're all in the metaverse, but we have no interaction with one another. In order to really unlock the potential of Web3, we're going to need to figure out a system where there's interoperability. Every time I talk about gaming and NFTs, and I keep telling you, the pitch that these crypto people talk about, these Web3 types, is, hey, if you buy one skin in one video game, it could show up in another video game. Yeah, that requires all these companies to get together and program using common engines and assets. And even amongst 3D engines with a lot of commonality, rigging those skins aren't simple. If we're at that stage right now, could you imagine us getting to a point where all these companies that rely on beating one another, competing with one another, profiting far above one another, are actually going to work with each other to make sure each of their products are facilitated? You cannot have that system. It is incompatible in every capacity. Anybody pitching you that idea is selling you a pipe dream, okay? Jesus, how many times do we have to say it before people understand this shit? Now, of course, I don't really have much more we can add to the entire idea of the metaverse. The fact that Mark Zuckerberg and the entire team over at Meta is absolutely committed to this shows me how far out of touch this company is from its social media roots. Look, I understand. Once you develop Facebook, there's not much more you can do. Facebook's biggest problem has been on every front. For instance, Apple has jumped in and basically taken away the ability for Facebook to track as effectively as it once did, to propagate ads to its average user base. It's why they beg people across Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, please let us track you. And if Apple's doing that, one day I could imagine companies like Google baking this into the Android framework. And when that happens, Facebook is truly out of the game, because they don't even have their own hardware for its largest user base. Their mobile platforms, Facebook, if you will, Instagram, they don't even make their own hardware for that. They basically rely on the goodwill of the other companies. And eventually that goodwill runs out. Beyond just Apple and all these mobile companies targeting the permission systems, you've also got Facebook, Meta, completely falling out of favor when it comes to going up against new forms of social media such as TikTok, which is completely destroying it when it comes to its short form content. Even YouTube has its own troubles fighting against something as large as TikTok. And then you get into the final stage, pouring your eggs into the metaverse basket. I don't understand why Mark Zuckerberg is so focused on elevating the level of social media to the point where he wants us to live inside Facebook-run digital worlds. It would have been better if this company spent its war chest, its multiple billions of dollars, buying out services like Discord, if you will, and better integrating that into its own gaming divisions, into its live streaming divisions. Could you imagine? Discord itself would have been a far better proposition than them putting any money into this form of metaverse crap. The reality is, most people that you talk to do not understand why they want to be in the metaverse. Could you imagine spending hours of your day putting on an uncomfortable virtual reality headset, poking around MMO worlds that are basically Roblox? Why the fuck won't somebody just load up Roblox on their pancake displays, on their desktop displays, and play there? Why don't people just play on the already existing gaming situation, the gaming worlds that we already have, that are much more simpler, much easier to have cross-play, much easier for people to get in and out, versus putting on an uncomfortable, expensive headset and playing with that for maybe an hour and a half a day, talking to people. These people think that instead of using services like Discord, like Skype, like any form of service like FaceTime on your cell phone, they think it's much more enjoyable if we start to have meetings or discussions with people sitting in virtual 3D worlds talking with our headsets on. In what world is that more enjoyable or somewhat feasible than just using your cell phone to FaceTime another user? How is this more feasible to contact people from other sides of the world? Could you imagine? No, seriously, imagine this for 1 second. Imagine if these guys pitch you the idea, hey, you can hang out with your entire family. You can call up grandma and grandpa on the other side of the world and sit in the same room in the metaverse. Yeah, okay, that's cool and all. You think I'm going to get my grandpa and grandma to figure out how to use a goddamn headset? Those people can barely figure out how to get this running, and this is designed for them. So of course, why is it that world is more favorable to one where I can simply call them on FaceTime, they press one big green button, and all of a sudden, we're looking at each other's face over the internet talking to one another? How is that world more feasible? Playing video games together. How is anything metaverse related, anything in those VR headsets, even close to the experience of actual gaming that we have? Any of the MMOs that are currently out, like Final Fantasy XIV, like World of Warcraft, like GT Online, like Fortnite, games that are easier to play, games that are on almost every device and crossplay. How? And of course, when it comes to making money, we've already talked about people who are working wage-cut jobs on the metaverse. Is that the future you want? Is that the future that you expect, to live in virtual mansions while your actual real life mirrors that of Skid Row? I don't know. It's weird to me. But of course, Facebook has put billions of dollars down into the line, and at this point, it might as well just be considered a good example of the sunk cost fallacy. These guys are throwing good money at bad money. And at this point, you just gotta cut your fucking losses and move on with this crap. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Metaverse. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.